Reskilling is probably, I'd say, if not one of the top challenges, needs we have as an industry. Because we're moving largely from, in some cases, manual-based type processes to more mental-based. We're also thinking of development. You heard some things today in the meeting around low-order code, not doing development. So the challenge is, how do I then take a skill base into where do I have more decision-making skills, more creativity, things that are not being replaced by AI and non-humans. So we have a very strong program at that. It's also never being comfortable with even what you know and encouraging them to find other learning outside of us. So we'll never be able to provide the whole program ourselves. So we also fund other educational programs where they can go learn themselves. I've got some of my team, for example, that are going to AI programs that universities are having to learn more about AI as an example. Ground up. So our challenge today is most learning platforms are pretty traditional. Create a course, make the course digital, take the course, take the test. I think we have to create more of an AI type program, which is as you're doing work, it stores and catalogs it for you and then shares it with others in a more collaborative way. We're doing some pilots with that today, where we've actually taken one of our old SharePoint learning platforms, put AI on top of it, and you no longer have to tag or organize anything. As you save and learn from it, it self-tags and self-learns to, in effect, change the paradigm of learning. If you look at it, often when you have economic pressures, that's when IT is the most needed. And if you think about what we use India for, it's largely around the IT talent. So I would say that in reality, it goes back to your reskilling question though, is look at the reskilling side of that is the key part of it. If we think of India as just that offshore simple talent, then it's at risk for the next offshore simple. I think India with this educational system is a phenomenal engineering talent that can be so much more than that. You know, I think there's probably two vectors to it. I'll use that versus factors. One is I think because in some cases of the maturity of the UK and US markets, you're having companies that have been around a long time trying to catch up, and they're trying to patch things. I think India's had the opportunity in some cases of being newer in the market, so not having some of the legacy to patch. The second thing is India's been very strong from day one about protecting their client data as well as their internal data. Okay, and part of the study you may have talked about was the fact that people in some of the developed world are very good with protecting their data, but not their clients' data. I think that's part of why the research has shown that India is better, is they put equal measure to theirs and clients. Now, the US and UK recognize it, it's improving. I think the whole thing with GDPR is doing it, but it's got a ways to go. I think the whole idea of non-face-to-face healthcare. Okay, it's a huge issue in rural America because, in fact, there aren't doctors out there. You have a huge issue here of lots of people who can't get to a caregiver. How do you use, whether it's mobile, asynchronous? So there are some things we've done. There's a company we've piloted with which offers what they call asynchronous health. And what I mean by that is it's not a live conversation, but you would reach out to your doctor who would send an app to your phone that does a piece of work and goes back to the doctor. Well, now you don't need to have a high bandwidth network. It can be almost anywhere, and you're getting care that in many cases the customer likes better than going to a hospital and waiting in the room for a long time. So we are talking about with India, can we bring those over to countries like here where you have a similar challenge to that and work with that type of opportunity? To me, that's a ubiquitous challenge anywhere you have a large disconnected population. Ultimate reality viewing. This was an announcement we made just last week with Major League Baseball. So it's three-dimensional live broadcasting. Imagine going to a stadium to watch your team play, and you're watching them play in front of you, but they're not on the field. No glasses, 3D live broadcasting. Think about having this interview live and no one's in the room. It can change it, and NTT Group has been working on this for several years. They had a person doing an interview in Korea walk out on stage and talk to us. The third one is quantum. Because the ability to really solve very complex math problems, quantum has the potential of changing the curve. Let me give you an example. Imagine a shipping company, with like 100 customers to go to in a day, 20 different trucks out there. You can route truck city A to city point B, that's ways. But try and redefine the whole network during the day. The math is known, but it can't be done in a day. They've modeled that to be done in 5 seconds. Think about saving 10% of your fuel cost if you're a large shipping company. That's a huge impact. Quantum has the potential of changing the curve on a lot of things.